bit of foam there. Alright, so I got my show notes. I got my beer. Some of it's all over me. But I don't know where Comic Flipper is. I got the right time and everything, so you know, he should be here. How you doing, man? You're a little bit...
Buddy! Nature! Guys, this is Comic Flipper, and I'm here with the one, the only, Buddy Nature. This is Collectors Club Comics. Welcome to the club.
Woo! So if you couldn't tell, today's subject, Ric Flair. We both love Ric Flair, right?
Oh, absolutely adore the guy.
Yeah.
Charlotte Flair, his daughter, oh my fucking god. He is one of the greatest wrestlers, the greatest wrestlers of all time.
He is the limousine riding, jet flying,
Kiss stealing, wheeling dealing, son of a gun, who kissed all the girls in the neighborhood and made them cry.
So we decided it would be amiss for us not to make an appreciation video for the Nature Boy Ric Flair.
Indeed, indeed, Buddy Nature.
Indeed.
Now with that said, I heard that you had some questions for me today.
I did, man, I did. So the first one is, what about Ric Flair's wrestling style? And it's a very specific style that you actually pointed out to me. It slipped my mind when I was watching him for all those years. What makes him the greatest wrestler of all time?
It starts with his style itself. And these wrestlers back then, they had all kinds of like gimmicks that weren't as good as the ones now, but there were very few, like Flair's.
Yeah,
he actually took it from what's his name?
Buddy Nature Boy Rogers.
One of the greatest things about him was just like his showmanship. He comes out in a damn robe, you know, and this thing was screaming. It wasn't it wasn't your father's bathrobe. You know
it was a full sequence Liberace style shit, you know?
Yeah, and to top it off, you know, he always had this charisma about him. He got so crazy, you know, he'd pop off when he was shooting promos and stuff. This guy
veins in his neck and his head.
Dude, he would make himself
red
bleed,
face.
cut himself. Dude, this guy.
Oh yeah, he was notorious for cutting himself because of, his white hair. He loved to have the blood in his hair. You know?
The white hair. Okay,
Yeah.
see, now this is what makes him one of the best wrestlers. I mean, just because, like in the 80s, he had that mane. He had that big mane of hair. Like when he was older, it started to get
that
more
Farrah Fawcett hair.
Yeah, it was beautiful. Appearance to his theme song.
Oh man.
To him wilding out in the ring, taking his clothes off, you know, dropping an elbow on his coat. Like, this guy is insane. And like, not only that, but he was one of the best wrestlers in the ring.
Yeah.
Now, he liked to fight dirty.
I figured out why he actually had to adopt that style, because he wasn't always like that when he was wrestling.
Right.
He was actually involved in a plane crash. Now the pilot died, the other guy was injured, like pretty bad, and he actually broke 3 vertebrae in his spine.
Wow.
So he had to adopt something that wasn't the powerhouse, like bullying type of wrestling.
Right, because he wasn't able to do the things that he used to do.
He couldn't exert himself like that. Yeah.
Right.
So we saw him adopt the dirtiest fighting that you ever saw in the ring.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite things about him, was like his, as they call him, his mind games.
Yeah.
You know, he would always fuck with the other wrestlers, and at some point he looks them straight in the eye and gives them the woo, you know, and then he starts styling and profiling, and like nobody else really did that. I mean, everybody has their taunts and stuff, but the Nature Boy Ric Flair really just was.
He has an attitude about him.
He was a wild character, and no one can hold him down. it's like he was so successful in the business. Like, what are you really gonna tell him? I mean, like, sure, you could fire him, you could do this and that, but like, dude, he had.
Oh, you could make him retire like Vince did.
Right, but like well, I mean, he didn't really. The only reason why I think he stopped for a while was because Vince shut everything down. Yeah. He bought everything up. Well, and a lot of the wrestlers didn't want to join Vince.
And they notoriously hate each other, you know?
Right, and like wrestlers like Sting and Ric Flair, who were from WCW since like the beginning, pretty much.
Yeah.
They were like really all about that, even with the NWO takeover. Excuse me, when that happened, Flair, Sting. I mean, actually, Sting got recruited into the NWO Wolfpack eventually. But like, it took a while, and it wasn't until he came back from his injury that he had, and then he came back as the dark, pro themed Sting, because remember classic Sting had
the blue and the gold.
He had the white hair like Ric Flair. He had a little rat tail with the weird kind of mullet. It was like not a mullet because it was a rat tail. But, he had that short on the sides, little like spike.
It was goofy looking. It was goofy looking. Yeah. So. I mean, I remember watching. We were doing research for this video, and I was watching him fight Ricky the Dragon Steamboat.
Oh yeah.
And like the contrast between his style, even coming to the ring, he had like 80 bitches with him. All of them were like old pretty, so they were kind of ugly. And
they were like Mavericks pretty.
They were like Mavericks is a bar in town where all the beatest bitches are.
He said it, not me.
I say what I want. And and then Steamboat came out with like his wife, his son on a fucking horse. Like, it was goofy shit, man.
That's weird.
Like, it was the contrast was like wholesome to.
But dude, like,
basically, to me, Ric Flair was a scoundrel in a good way.
Yeah.
He drank. He probably did some other shit.
So that sounds like all of the wrestlers in the 80s.
No, but this guy did it the best though.
Well, I mean, he did like to blow his money, and he liked to show that he had the money.
Yeah.
He liked to be the big boy on the block.
It kind of bit him in the ass later in life, though, because
of course it did.
The debt that he accrued was
when you're
staggering.
young, dumb, and rich, you don't really think about the future.
No, why would you? I mean, if you're Ric Flair, the dude had a body, the dude had a mouth, the dude had talent, the dude had money. Like, why wouldn't you do that kind of shit?
Exactly. I mean, I would probably do the same.
Oh, I for sure would.
So I
mean, you know me. Okay, so
remember Long Beach Comic Con?
Oh, fucking it. Yeah. not all of it. Yeah. Okay, so do you think that because he was notorious for starting real beefs with people? I mean, Bret Hart, Mick Foley, Shane Dawson, who still fucking hates him.
Right.
Of course, Vince McMahon. Well, they fucking hate each other too.
What I saying?
Yeah, I got that without saying.
Well, I mean, like, dude, you put it this way.
Well, no. What do you think the real life shit talking contributed to the ring presence and the ring animosity between these guys?
Of course, of course. Now, like, if you have these guys, okay, you have a bunch of fucking testosterone-filled guys. A lot of them on
roids or
coke and roids, or either or. I mean, everyone's different, but like those were pretty much the norm. And then,
I don't know. Back then, it was pretty.
And then you got the alcohol thrown in the mix, and then you're always on the road. So I mean, it's a lot of like stress, and I'm sure tension, and then like you said, testosterone. Mm-hmm. Now, like that is obviously going to create some friction within, behind the scenes in the locker and stuff, especially with wives and when it comes to wives and stuff. I know Macho Man had a lot of problems allegedly.
And then Shawn Michaels also had issue with that because he was fucking sable and he was married.
Dude, Shawn Michaels was fucking everybody. And so was Ric Flair. They were you have all them, right? And then I was telling Buddy earlier, it's like there's some of the best directors out there. Okay, they get their actors and they legitimately screw with their heads.
Yeah.
To get them into the legit mood and give off that actual raw emotion.
You can't fake that funk, man. Like it's
exactly. So like
it's better.
I think with that said, sure, like the real life tensions behind the scenes do contribute a lot to what's going on in the ring when they have to be in a bit with each other, especially if they hate each other's guts.
Yeah.
It really does help because like you have that raw emotion there, and then and then too, the cool thing is like if they're good enough at playing it off like Flair, you believe it.
Yeah,
you believe it, and like
I
you
mean,
don't
you never,
know what's real and fake.
You never believe the fighting because it's notorious. Actually, sometimes
that's what I'm talking about.
There are those
there's
guys
actual tension
that actually beat each other up. Yeah. So I mean, yeah, I do also think that if you have legitimate like bad blood between two wrestlers, or even like if we look at the UFC today, two fighters, the fight is always better. You know?
Well, look at Mayweather and what's his fuck?
McGregor? Yeah, they were fucking, he was poking bear, dude. The real shit talking definitely improved the wrestling, I think.
Without a doubt.
And Ric Flair, I mean, you're talking to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kiss stealing, woo, wheeling dealing. Like that guy could just rile up a crowd, especially the ladies.
Yeah, he was definitely a ladies' man, and like, dude, that's the other thing about him is like all these other wrestlers. I mean, they had their fame with the kids, they had their fame with the dudes, they had their fame too with like household names and stuff like that.
What lady doesn't like a big buff, oiled up dude?
Right, but mind you, like back then, a lot of wrestlers, even the ones that they were trying to claim as like handsome and shit, they were fucking ugly.
Yeah, some of them were just ugly.
They were just ugly, dude. It's something about like as like time goes on, motherfuckers just looking better, like voice and everything. Ugh.
As far as the institutions of wrestling, we have WWF and WCW, two of the big powerhouses, both of which Flair worked at.
Right.
In your opinion, which one was better? Because I honestly never watched anything from WCW. I can't give an informed answer on this, but I know you did, and you can give an informed answer. So, WWF or WCW for Flair?
WCW all the way.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Why?
He really thrived in that business. I think like when he came to the WWF, it was only because, again, like I was telling Buddy earlier, if you remember, I don't know if you do or not, like it was a takeover where like, towards the end once Vince started intervening and he was like on WCW, during all this, like those guys went out there in the ring, specifically Flair was one of them, was talking about how he wasn't going to leave the WCW. He wasn't going to join Vince, he wasn't going to do all that, and he was saying that he gave Sting his respect because Sting wasn't going to do the same shit either. Mm-hmm. So they planned on staying, and I think the only reason why that Flair went to the WWF, and I could be wrong here, who fucking knows, because like, I still like to learn, I still like to not know things, and like, be someone come in and hey, no, you're wrong, this is, correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Put a comment down there, whatever you want to do, but like, I think the only reason why he joined Vince and went to the WWE was because...
And that's a whole other fucking video.
He didn't want to, like... It's either join Vince or die out. Because Vince destroyed ECW, WCW, any of the other wrestling things that they had going on.
Yeah, I mean,
like,
they're still independent circuits, but like the televised ones,
the good ones, dude. Like, Vince just shut that shit down real quick. And he basically owned all the wrestlers. Like, he owns wrestling now. Like, without a fucking doubt. He owns everybody.
Yeah,
he like, Vince McMahon
is wrestling.
The Wrestling Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
If you want to be in a Hall of Fame, you got to go through Vince.
Yeah. I mean, we saw Razor Ramon.
Scott Hall got excommunicated because of his addiction problems and stuff like that. But once he got better from Paige, DDP Yoga, bang! He actually fucking got, the callback. Actually, I think Paige had a lot to do with it. I think he set everything up,
Paige
but he let Vince know, hey,
yeah.
This guy is fucking legit now. And Vince is like, okay, because, they want someone good and clean, a nice face to represent. Like, okay, if you're working at, like, a Target or a Walmart, do you want someone who's, like, gonna represent the company good, or do you want someone who's gonna...
I mean, I know what I want, but we always get felons over at fucking Walmart.
right. That's true, but you know what I mean, though, so that's why we go to Target.
Yeah, exactly.
They're all about family entertainment, sports entertainment.
Yeah.
So with that said, Flair, once he got to the WWF, he always seemed like kind of like a pain, to be honest. Like, every time I seen him in kind of promo,
it was kind of sad.
He was always coming out. No, not so much sad. Like, he was coming out in the promos, and like, all the wrestlers were hating on him, and he was always like the bad guy and shit. Like, he wasn't the same old Flair. I mean, but the audience gave him the fucking. He comes out anywhere he's at, dude. He gets a standing ovation. That's one thing about Flair. You watch the WCW, you watch WWF. They always comment on how everybody in the house stands up.
I remember watching back in the last hit. In the audience, there was I swear, like 30 last hit, like signs long of woo!
Yeah, dude.
Like, you don't get that kind of shit if they don't love you. Yeah, there's no doubt that Ric Flair is just a respected wrestler overall and a beloved name in sports entertainment.
He definitely deserved it. He worked hard for it. I mean, maybe he had to do a couple of dirty things to friends or fellow wrestlers, but like that's kind of just the name of the game. You know, like he says, to be the man, you gotta beat the man.
Exactly.
And so, I mean, if the man's playing dirty and you gotta beat him, guess what? You gotta play dirtier.
Yep.
And that's just one thing. Like I said, like fame doesn't come easy, and Ric Flair really did what he had to do.
He put in his time.
But like, he thrived in the WCW. He had some of the best matches of his life. He held some of the greatest championship titles. It being the World Championship title.
Yeah.
13 times. This fucking guy did it all, man. And like,
and not to take away from like his time in the WCW, but he did not do poorly in the WWF. The fight with Shawn Michaels, his retirement, remember? It's like the retirement.
God, dude.
That match was ridiculous.
Talk about woo! That shit makes me cry every time I watch it, dude. Him and Shawn Michaels lock eyes, and he's telling him, come on.
Yeah.
And he's asking for the fucking Sweet Chin music, and Shawn Michaels looks at him, and he's like holding back tears, and he says, I love you. And you could like see it. Like you could read the lips, I love you, and like he fucking just kicks him, like ends his career, and he just lays there, man. Even after he gets pinned, he just lays there, and he's crying, dude. Like that is one of, like, that shit gets me so emotional.
You're about to fucking cry right now, aren't you, faggot?
Probably. That and the Undertaker's retirement, dude. Oh my god. And then man, it's getting hot in here. When Flair retired in the ring, like, and he's in his
on Raw the next day,
dude, and fucking Taker comes
everybody
in.
They broke kayfabe and everything, and dude, they fucking like.
But when Taker comes in, dude, and gives him the with the eyes, and he starts crying, dude. Yeah. I cry right with him every time. Like, I might as well. I'll be back. You know, I'm just kidding. But like for real, like I hurt myself today. His retirement, dude. Like, but you know, he never left.
No. Here's the thing. He probably wanted to leave, but he couldn't because of his debt. He had to go back to like, what is it? I think TNA.
Well, yeah, I'm sure that's probably why he's making moves now. Ric fucking Flair drip. Okay. This isn't even supposed to be in the show, but like now we're just...
We can't help it, man.
Dude,
that shit was so good.
Like, when I first heard that, like, I hear motherfucking kids, like, bumping that shit.
Yeah.
Like, bitches and shit bumping that shit. Fucking Flair drip. I'm like, do you even fucking know who Ric Flair is, dude? Do you know what the answer I get about fucking 85% of the time is? I'm sure by the way that I'm saying this, you already know what the answer is.
The answer is no.
Yeah, and like, what the fuck? It blows my fucking mind. But then again, too, like, I'm a fucking nerd.
Yeah.
And I love wrestling. I grew up off it. Like, these kids, they don't know what's up.
They don't know what the hell they're doing.
They barely know what a John Cena is. And I still don't even know what the motherfucker looks like.
Yeah, right? They keep sending me pictures of nothing.
Yeah, that's the weirdest thing. Yeah, dude, so like, I've been watching a lot of stuff. I've been watching some of my favorite shit about Ric Flair, honestly. If you were to ask me if it's either his promo work, like his mouth, or his wrestling. I mean, I love both. Honestly,
I think his promos are better.
His promo is the shit, bro. Like, dude, nobody fucking did the things like Flair.
The Slick Rick one. Slick Rick! You're talking to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing,
Slick
kiss stealing, woo, wheeling dealing.
When he called out Bret Hart and was like, "You tell me," and this is WCW. And I think I showed you this.
Yeah, you showed me that. Yeah.
And he's like, you know, he calls him out and he tells you, you know, I want you to tell me in this ring, basically in front of me. And he's like, say that little thing that you say.
I'm the best there is, the best there was, the best there ever will be.
And what I love about it is he goes and tells him, you know what, you might be a big thing in Canada. He's like, but with this, you're in America. And he's like, and I am like the definition of a, you know, like a fucking legit American. He's like, you're looking at, you know, and he starts talking about his all beef products and
the intensified beef products.
Yeah, dude. And so like, this guy just like, you know, he takes something so like, he could have just like been like, you know what, you're a bitch. And no, he gets into this crazy shit to the point where he starts taking off his jacket and she's screaming
Yeah.
and turning red and his veins popping out, and then everyone already knows where it's going. Once the second the jacket fucking comes off, it, you know, woo! Everyone starts wooing. Oh my god! Speaking of the crowd wooing, let's get into the Ric Flair chops.
Oh, the chops,
fucking,
man. Okay,
he starts
his
chopping
moves,
motherfuckers, dude. Like, woo! Like that is
Yeah.
one of my favorite things. And Charlotte Flair, his daughter. Oh my fucking god!
So I guess the point I'm really.
Oh, you know what, buddy? I think it's time we let these wonderful people go back to their everyday normal lives, their comic collecting, their woo! So, with that said, I'm Comic Flipper. This is the one, the only, Buddy Nature, and this is Collectors Club Comics. Welcome to the club.
Woo! Woo!